what's in there. So the super pump is a
pre-workout.
Pre-workout, yeah. Okay. So these are things that typically will contain some caffeine, and they'll contain creatine.
Yeah.
They're the two usual main ingredients in pre-workouts. Look, I'm not a huge fan on the basis that if they're used all the time, you become accustomed to that. And so what happens if you don't have your pre-workout, or worse still, you have to have your pre-workout, you become dependent on it, and then, with dependency comes tolerance. And tolerance means you've got to have more to give you the same effect. And now it kind of starts to become a bit of a slippery slope. And if you don't happen to have it, your workout goes through the floor. So I'm not saying that they're get rid of them, but my recommendation, much like I've just mentioned for the caffeine, is use them sparingly.
Yep.
And choose your workout. Comes back to that idea we talked about with your coffee. Now, when do you like to drink coffee in a day? Think about, choose your time and go for that. Is there a workout during the week that you think a pre-workout might give you a bit of a kick for? Use that. Other than that, just keep things more stable in terms of energy. Right. And it depends on also what else is in those products, because there can be a few other ingredients which aren't really necessary.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's have a look here. So we've got a race day nutrition plan. This is just to give you an idea. This is just a running event. This is a half marathon. It may take about 2 hours, just to give you a bit of an idea, guys. This is
pretty quick.
Yeah, that's it's a pretty good clip.
That will not be my time.
Are you doing the what are you doing?
Well, yes, I'm going to do it for the first time ever.
Oh, awesome! That's fantastic.
My friend Kelly and I are going to do the bullet half marathon.
Oh, cool! Who's that?
Bridget's going to do it February.
First time of it.
February when we finish.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
It's in
So-
Bulla.
Where's Bulla?
Westport. It's like where I said Western
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful area, yeah. I just actually visited Westport for the first time, can you believe, the other weekend, for the long weekend. It's great to do.
I did the 10k relay last year in Bulla, and there was a guy who was quite an older guy, he was running the full marathon, and he was smoking at every stop.
Oh.
That was so
Yeah.
So the first drink stopped, but someone was waiting there with the smoke lit, and he was just...
Oh, no, that's
So he passed him a long way, because we were obviously driving, we waited for the person to do 10k, and he was still smoking. And then he was the singer in the band.
oh, jeez.
Real Westport.
Yeah, well, it's good to have different
I didn't
sorts,
think
isn't
you'd be
it?
allowed to do that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've never ever seen that. That's a good point.
That's pretty gross.
That's not
That is addiction.
yeah, that's right. That's and look, nicotine is one of the most highly addictive. It's more addictive than cocaine. So yeah, that's why smoking's so bad. All right. So purpose of this slide is to illustrate for you guys that, and you've got this, I think, in here. You don't have to have the fancy supplements, right? So you can actually just rely on something that's page 19 there. You can use your supplements, and like I do recommend that because they are formulated specifically for use during exercise. But if you just feel like they're not for you, you can use your water. This is, by the way, a time for this type. The only time in this type of event that I'd recommend water if you had something like pretzels, because what's the pretzels doing other than the carbohydrate? Salt. That's it. Exactly. Sodium. So that's where you get your electrolytes from. Okay. And then you could have your banana. But how easy is it to you're running along and you just grab my pretzels. It's a little bit, and especially riding a bike. I'm cruising. I'm just going to grab my pretzels. It's not as easy, is it? Versus a gel and done. So pretty self-explanatory. But you can see, guys, that by the way, you can see there for someone. Have we got a body weight? No. But let's say this is an individual now who's somewhere around the 70 kilogram mark. be fairly standard body weight, then we can see this is a fairly appropriate intake. Of course, if we go on 30 to 60 grams, that's more to the point. You can see that's about halfway.
So, can you have something other than a banana?
Of course, that's just an example.
I know, I don't like eating bananas.
No, you can have. Again, there's a lot of different options. So you have a muesli bar, or you can have, like in terms of fruits. I mean, you want something that's just easy and portable. Mandarin might work for you, or potentially some dried fruit.
Yeah,
that's a good time. Dried fruit, where they're raisins. I wouldn't.
Not apricots.
I wouldn't add. Possibly. The key thing is if just make sure you experiment and you practice, and if it works for you, great. The thing with apricots, they have typically some sulfur dioxide as part of the preserving to keep them dry, and that's not great on the gut. Sometimes that causes a bit of gut disturbance, and it might irritate.
Too much
So you might just want to be careful. You know what I mean? Just make sure that you're familiar and that your gut handles that. And again, I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, to rely on fruits. And so the other thing is fructose is not ideal because it's a gut irritant also. And actually that's why, just going back here guys, that's why I really like Eid, because there's very little fructose. Look at the sugars here, I should have mentioned that. 0.4. Very little fructose. Because quite a few I've worked with have had issues around dealing with sugar, and mainly fructose. So this is a really low sugar fructose drink, which is fantastic, I think. And that's the issue, Lindley, with dried fruit, fructose. With resistance, how many of you are doing some lifting work, some resistance work? Jim, so a few of you, yeah. So one thing to consider is that certainly if you really want to give yourself full noise support, when I say that, you really want to, let's say, and of course it depends on what result you're after. So if you really want to support hypertrophy and help your muscles to increase in their in growth and size, then you want to have some protein carbohydrate before, during and after. So something like a Nutrimeal or another protein carbohydrate beverage, either in a 1:1 or 1:2 ratio, protein to carbohydrate will work. The Nutrimeal, I've got one here because I'm going to have this on, sorry guys, I just want to give away, I'm having it tonight on the way home. I'll need that to get me home. This is a 1 to 2, 1 gram protein to 2 grams carbohydrate. Okay, so it works quite well for post-exercise. Now, also, I should mention, and if you are looking for certainly an economical alternative, if you load it to page 21, I mean, even something like chocolate milk, which I know sounds crazy. Chocolate milk.
Sugar.
Yeah, well that's it. Remember, let's go back to strategy 2. We have eat most high carb foods and sugar mainly after. So for during is okay. So during and after, if you're having it at that time, brilliant. If you're having chocolate milk as just a snack during the day, not so great.
Yeah. So if my kids want chocolate milk, I say go for a run.
That's it, exactly right. That's it, Mr. Say. Yeah, no problem, guys. 5 laps around the block and you're good to go.
Lucy goes to Gina. Go around to Gina's.
I do hear Lucy.
What's going on? Are they going for runs around the block?
Run to Gina's.
Oh, yeah, I see. That's good. So, yeah. So let's just start to wrap up here. Let's see, we're about just after 9. Okay, so let's not too far to go. We've touched on a lot of these things already, actually, guys. So in the recovery phase, there's a lot of things nutrition can help us do. Again, the key thing is turning things from a breakdown, catabolic to an anabolic, building up, recovering, adapting. And so our priority for endurance training is to have either some sports drink. So this is where I've talked about already tonight. So if you're doing, so let's say if it's a half an hour run, Jolene, you mentioned about that.
Yep.
You may be fine in just having water, a little bit of even water when you finish, but it depends on when your breakfast is. So if breakfast was within the first half an hour, you're all good.
Cool.
If it's going to be an hour by the time you've maybe got in the car, driven home, had a shower, then you need something to bridge that gap. So this is actually where, for some, like I've had some who have used the likes of a Nutrimeal or a protein shake or something that they've prepared in advance, as not only it's good recovery immediately, but what they've been able to do then is have that give them, basically buy them time. So then they can, a common thing for cyclists is to sit in the cafe and have a coffee. Yeah. And I must admit, I'm definitely, like at this time of year, it's all about the cafe with a ride going. It's totally about that, right? So you build your ride around the cafe. The only problem is an hour ride, I go ride with mate Jeff and we ride past the cafe on the way out. I'm like, oh, that's tempting, and we're going to wait till we come back. But the point is this, that you stop, you can have, if you have something appropriate with protein and carbohydrate, you can sit around at the cafe for an hour, possibly up to an hour and a half, and know that you've got some recovery happening, and then go home and have brekkie, or whatever you're having, lunch at that point, whatever time it is, okay? So it's just now planning and thinking ahead, and this can be something that just gives you a bit more time before you have potentially some breakfast cereal,